the first thing that thank you for having me on your channel. But one thing I want them to learn is that they should go and learn from APC. How APC was able, it's not about merging together. That is very, very important. But to merge and sustain it. How was able, I mean, how ACN, ANPP, and some other political parties were able to merge since 2014, and they are still me. I thought after the exit of Buhari that the APC will collapse, that it's only one president they will produce. But funny enough, we still see them waxing stronger. Having said that, let's talk about the emergency now. If they march, it's going to give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a heavy blow and a very strong battle to fight, which I'll be very, very happy to see that even if you want to get second time, Nigeria, we are not dummy. You have to fight for it. Like I usually say on different platforms, that power is what struggle for, is what a rumble for. You cannot just sit down somewhere and they will just give you power on the platter of gold. I don't believe in that. So I want more effort from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even if you want to win 2027 election. If that kind of collabo work, it will, two things will happen. It will double the hustle of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, both politically and even in the governance. We want to at least do something right, so that at least to win the heart of people. And the election is not going to be a very easy one. Now, this is my point about second time of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Honestly speaking, I don't want him for second time. Yes, I don't want President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for second time. In 2023, I supported him. Why I don't want him for second time is this. Tinubu, to me, I see him as somebody that come to take some dangerous decision, some decision that you will think twice before you take it. And those are the decisions he has been taking, and he's about to take another more, which I know that he still have more joker. You see local government autonomy, you see state police, you see tax reform bill, and some other thing that I thought that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will still bring. They are the one, I mean, they are very necessary for Nigeria if you still want to sustain ourselves. Power devotion to the state is very, very important. Like issue of deregulating electricity, giving state power to generate their electricity is also very, very important, which I'm very sure that before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu finish his 4 years, he will bring a lot of things that will set Nigeria in the right path. Whomever that is now coming after that, we have a lesser burden. And as I usually say that, I challenge any candidate that we want to contest in 2027 to promise us that he's going to reverse subsidy if you win. None of them will promise you that they are going to reverse subsidy. Is it Jonathan they will bring that he will reverse subsidy that he has made attempt to remove since 2012, and somebody come now and he say he has removed the subsidy? That means there's nothing for you to remove again. So if anybody is going to be blamed, it is Tinubu, not you, because you will just only say that it wasn't me that removed the subsidy and I can't reverse it. I dare Obi to come and reverse subsidy if he becomes president. He cannot. He will not be able to reverse the subsidy. So I know that there are some little things, amendment that they may add to the system, or like maybe organizing some cushion, something that will cushion the effect of subsidy removal. Maybe they will be able to handle it well more than President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But me, as you see me, I cannot throw away a bathwater with the baby. It's not all the policy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is not good. And if you have injury, doctor want to treat you or nurse, you will also experience pain. What they are after is for you to be healed, but you will also experience pain. The only thing is just that how President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is handling some cases is what I don't like. You remove subsidy. What are the measures you put in place at least to cushion the effect on the people. Some of his approach, they were not good, like increasing the state allocation. And it's not that those programs, they are not good, but it is because we have governors that are not responsible. Since the allocation has been increased in the state, we have not seen much that commensurate with the kind of money they are receiving. Although some of them are now increasing their, the salary of the workers, but much is still yes, minimum wage. Much is expected from them. But away from increasing the allocation of federal of state, let us know. Try to be transparent a bit that after we remove subsidy, this is what we are able to say. This is how we spend this. This is a program that are earmarked for people, and it is not going to be a bodu kind of a thing. Not a situation. Not a situation. Let people be aware of what you are doing. You see, President Tinubu now is still, he may still go the way of other past presidents have been doing, when they will be doing something, but people will not be aware of what they are doing. Like now, some people are not, so many Nigerians are not conscious of how easy or how difficult it is for any student to acquire loan. Maybe in Nigeria we have been used to, we don't have governments. Even if the government now come and say they are organizing a particular program, we don't trust them. We don't have time. So, like loan policy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing, so many people, they don't know where to go, where to start. So, the citizens also need much orientation that, do you need loan? This is the approach. Do you need student loan? This is the approach. Let people know about the program that you are doing to cushion, the effect. You don't do enough to me. The little one you do, so many people, they were not aware about it. So, it'll be a very, very, I want to see Royal Rumble 2027. Not that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu will just pick it like that. I like it that way.
But you're out of that. Atiku and Peter will be coming together. Do you think that Tinubu, just like as you said, do you think that Tinubu should be bothered? Because you know that we know that Tinubu is a jagaban. Do you think you should be worried that with this alliance of Peter Obi, Atiku and possibly Kwankwaso, do you think that they can finally defeat Tinubu 2027?
Yes, they can. That's what I'm saying. They can.
But there's a popular prophet Olujobi. I think his prophecy are most time accurate. He predicted that Tinubu will win in 2023, but there's come out and said that Obi and Atiku will be forming an alliance, but it will all come to futility, that nothing will come out of it.
Yes, nothing. Why their alliance? Why nothing may come out of it is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also is a general when we are talking about politics, Nigeria politics. So he has used that game. He was coming from that game, from game of alliance. The best alliance that he yield result in Nigeria was the alliance AC and the other party form that was able to produce president. So he was coming from that game. He knows the nooks and crannies of that game. He knows the weakness and potential of that game. So somebody as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very, very dangerous to the extent that the opposition, even if they come together, they should be very, very careful and make sure that everything they are doing, they do it very well. First of all, Atiku, Obi, both of them were ready to sacrifice a lot, including Kwankwaso. They have to bury their ego, and they should know how to forgive, and they should know how to have foresight. They should know how to put the results of the alliance first, not necessarily what they are going to gain in it. You see, the way Nigeria politicians reason, they are the ones that can explain it. Majority of them believe in kakake kuma jesese afisawadanu. Instead of them not to enjoy a particular thing, they prefer to destroy it or scatter it. So if they were able to do something like that, I think they will come victorious. It's just about their how good is their plan and their homework. If they do their homework very well, I think they are good to go.
Look, in politics, it's a game of number, not the only number. The strategy and other things involved in it. So, Atiku, Kwakwanzo, what's it called? Obi, coming together to form alliance is well okay. It's okay. They have freedom of association to freely associate themselves, form an association of their like minds, and champion their cause. It's within it's access of within the norms of democracy and norms of normal society. Now the issue is that what is the motive behind this? Will it be an association of where one man is trying to exercise his own selfish interest or for the interest of the votes of the association? Because I can cajole you to come and join me form an association with the sole aim of using you to achieve my own aim, which will never be known to you. And then instead of working for the interest of the association, I will now be working seriously for my own selfish ambition. So it's all about whose interest is all is to be pursued, is to be secured, is to be sought out, to be accomplished that matters. Is it about interest of Atiku to be realized, interest of Obi to be realized, or collective interest of the association in the interest of Nigerians? That's what matters. So I'm not bothered, I'm not too moved by their so-called agreements or association. What is the primary purpose of that interest? Is it for individual interest or collective interest, so that they can play down their selfish interest, personal interest for the collective interest of the association, and then the association will become stronger? Not all about me, my own efforts, my own ambition, my own interest, my own goals to be achieved. If that's what it's all about, well, I don't know. Maybe it's for the interest of the association. Generally, if the association interest is the one that reigns supreme than their individual interest, so be it. It's good. But I'm surprised. I doubt it. If the interest of the association will reign supreme, I doubt it, and not individual interest that will reign supreme among the so-called people that have come together. That's fine. But let's leave that for another day and see which interest reigns supreme. Is it the interest of the association that reigns supreme, whereby the interest of the association is what they work towards and not individual interest? Let's hope and see what it is in the future.
But in out of that, we see the economy not going well. People can barely feed themselves and their family. Do you not think that Tinubu will be massively voted out, by even the people of the north? We've seen them even seriously complaining that even as regards the tax reform bill that Tinubu wants to, enact. Do you not think that the north will really vote against Tinubu come 2027?
Hello, who is telling you that Tinubu doesn't have his own followers, doesn't have his own supporters? See, of course, the economic situation is biting us harder. Cost of things exceptionally high. Then who is telling you that everybody is feeling it? Some are amassing in West every day. They are making more money. So even though quite number of masses are feeling the harsh economic reality of present administration, but there are other people too who are smiling to bank, making money every day, who don't want this administration to lose, and they are also in their millions. So it's a question of which of them is the higher higher number than the rest. Is it the people who are enjoying higher number than the people who are suffering? So all these things are based on number, it's a factor of number. And then those who are enjoying, are you talking about that? I have been that those who with influence, they also have people who support them, who are also eating from them, who are also benefiting from them too, and who knows that once their appointment, as first they will also fall. all these factors I need to put into consideration and don't just come to a vague conclusion that the masses, who is telling that those masses, part of those masses are not benefiting from those who are in government and place of authority now. So it's a question of percentage of people who are not making something from the government to compare with those who are benefiting from the government. So people are in position of authority, the people under them, they are benefiting through them from the government. Mind that those one too will not tell you that they want their man, their sponsor, their main man to lose where he's making his money, through which they are also benefiting. So these are factors you have to take note. So don't just come to the conclusion that the masses are in number against Tinubu. No, I don't reason like that. Because somebody who's the government chairman under this administration, who has extended opportunities to people under him, they are the same thing with you. Those one may not allow, will not vote against this government because through their punishment, their main man in position of authority, they are also benefiting. Some people will vote alongside this government. But those who are not benefiting anything at all, they are the ones that will say they will vote this government out. Now, what is the number of those who are not benefiting and those who are benefiting either directly or indirectly? Those are the things you have to consider. So, we just tell you that the opposing house is a factor that is dependent on many variables, on many parameters, on many points that you have to critically do your survey, do your detailed research to know where will you swing. But those who are benefiting from current politicians indirectly, they will tell you that they want this government to go. But those who are not benefiting anything, who are not making anything from this government, they are the one that will tell you, let the government go away. So but the issue is that, like I said, what's the percentage of these two people? That's where the matter is.
I think that he has what it takes to reduce the problem of insecurity in South.
Atiku seems not to have a credibility. Seems not to have that wide. You know, he might have some wide credibility in Southeast. The only way the Southeast can ever move forward is the release of nnamdikanu first. It's the first. Some people respect him. And other wicked people are hiding under so-called biafra something. Yeah, unknown God those used to. So if he's released, and he said that if I'm released though, then look for example, if they release nnamdikanu today, then all those so-called sit at home, who is going to do it? But some people are saying, what is it to honor nnamdikanu? Now, if he's released, sit at home ordinarily should out. Common sense. So these things are very, very simple. Or is a Kaluwu. Let them organize a fair and fair election in that state where it comes from. Do you think that he may win? It's as simple as how this is Okalu. Okay, remove this person first. Under whom people are hiding under unknown government agitators. When it's released, and people are okay, nnamdikanu is out. Then he said that if you release me after like 2 weeks, you're going to see drop in insecurity. Yeah, you're going to see that yes, this man is saying the truth. Let us release him. I said Sunday Go was released in Benin. Bandager was released. Release this man. Let them find a way, political solution to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let them release him first. Then let us now see for ourselves what will be the end game of the release, not somebody politician. Do you think that the youth, the lives of politicians, even here in the southwest part of Nigeria, do you think that youth like politicians? Go and ask Nigerian youth about their politicians. Because they don't have anything positive to say. Only negative about the deputy. They don't trust the deputy. Ask people. When you say you, who are you to release? Who are you to say? He can't do anything. He can't, and they know it. But everybody is not trying to play to the gallery. You want to please somebody. You want to please president. You want to please my people. You want to please. You can't play. Stop play. See, insecurity is very, very bad. There can only be development if there is peace. There can only be progress. If there is no peace, nobody will come. So stop playing. I don't tell people, stop playing with insecurity. Don't play with it. Don't ever play with insecurity. Take it, yes, take it hands on. Make sure that in your area there is peace. Anything that will cause insecurity, that will cause lack of peace, eliminate it. And one of it in the southeast is for the release of nnamdikanu. Maybe if he's released, maybe what he said, maybe it can happen. We are going to see it with our own eyes.
Because
Not all politicians.
what he said what they need is intelligence. That he used what they call intelligence
Which
when he was governor.
which intelligence?
That even other state governor called him, you know, to look for those for
when he was a governor, then it was under PDP.
Yeah.
And PDP then, Nigeria was not as well like this. PDP managed as a party to find a way to make sure that Nigeria is one. I like to give simple example. Under Obasanjo, in that time, we didn't vote for him. We voted for Falai in the southwest. When he became president, Yoruba outside body into my cabinet. His appointment was based on equity, fairness, and justice. So there was fairness under Obasanjo. So even though that Masop then in a so-called Masop, that's a movement with the evacuation of the sovereign state of Biafra. Masop then there was Masop, but then they were not as popular as this because Southeast they still enjoy some kind of federal presence. Then up to Yaradua, then Jonathan. Under Jonathan, nnamdikanu came under Jonathan a little bit, all these people. But at least you know what under Jonathan we seem to still have a kind of equity, fairness and justice. There was a kind of how do I put it? This kind of peace in Nigeria because PDP they find a way to give people power based on equity or at least they have national consciousness. It was when Buhari came when he said people gave me 5%. Yesterday was his birthday, 5%. And Buhari said that some people are a dot in the nation. Buhari said it. That was when the agitation became loud. So he should not say he does not have any magic wand. It was because Nigeria was at least still at peace with other, and the zones in Nigeria, they had this common understanding. But now you see that when Buhari was president, the North seemed to have upper hand. Okay, when Obasanjo was president, nobody had upper hand. We were all like one Nigeria. Yaradua, Jonathan, at least everybody. But this one now, under Buhari, see that the North is the king. But the Bola Tinubu, it seems that Yoruba, the West, Southwest are the king. It seems. So you saw how others were kicking against the North under Buhari. You saw how North now they are kicking against Yoruba that it is Tinubu put only Yoruba people back. That is why that so-called agitation is loud. But there's a kind of sense of purpose. Yeah, everybody is being carried along all the old tribes. Then also, what's his name? He should look inward. Not about any. There's no magic wand to it. The country seems to be more fragmented than it was before. Okay, let's talk about the tax bill of President Bola Tinubu. That tax bill simply means it's not showing the man. Well, it's not showing, but you see how the North are kicking against it. Yeah. So you see that the country is a little bit fragmented. The people now seem to cling toward their own regional and their own region. That is why it seems that we are no longer as equal to one as before. So that now lies the question. The question now is, what is his name? Nnamdikanu or what? What is the level of trust that the people have, even in Abia State, then in Southeast for him? Let him ask himself that question. That if he start today, he just start normally. Nnamdikanu stand. Who are the East going to follow? Is an example. So no. Yes, it's just simple. All our players have that in the mind. That if I stand now, I maybe Nnamdikanu stand. Who are they going to follow? It's as simple as that. Do they see him as a leader? I don't know. I'm just asking a question. That do they see Nnamdikanu as a leader? It's simple. So if they see him as a leader, good news. You don't see him. I have nothing to say.
But we've seen some people said ECPA, is not the cause of the insecurity there in the Southeast. That we've seen the governors, the leadership of the Southeast bring in, Fulani herdsmen, even we've seen Uzodima wanting to, set up an IDP camp, then the southeast, southern part of Nigeria, the eastern part of Nigeria. But with this now, do you not think the leaders, the Southeast governors should also be blamed for this?
You see, they are the CEO of
I think they should come and meet him for solution. But when you say this comment, is it not seen that these people are also at fault, in terms of bringing in, like of Peter Omba, people have accused him of allowing Fulani herdsmen take over the farm, people's farm there in Enugu State. Do you not think the Southeast governor should also be blamed?
The governors are the CEO of their state. So you are like the chief, you are the chief executive of the state. So ordinarily the blame should lie on their head. But number one, in Nigerian context, we claim to be practicing a federal system of government. Thereby, you are not passing any federal system. We claim to be federal, but you are passing something like a unity system of government. US, we say want to copy our own federal from the US. The governor in the state, they have their own Supreme Court in the state, and the governor in charge of the police. In Nigeria, the governor does not have power over the police. That's why they want to create a state police now. Even personally, I'm afraid of that state police because they might use it for their own personal. We don't want to know Nigeria. One side. You look at the fact that these governors, they don't have a say over the police. So the security architecture, do they really have that monopoly of it? I don't think so. That's the problem. So we can blame them. If you say blame them, what I'm looking at, the case of Empire is in Finland. I want to wait for it because these ones are Europeans. They still obey to the rule of law in Europe than here. So now I want to see what will become of this Empire case from Finland, and I will decide whether it's part of people when they feel that investigation. I'm going to know. What I want to see, even in the north, anywhere in Nigeria, I want to see peace. Let there be peace. We will say, south is south, north. As far as we are one Nigeria, Oyinbo man don't know whether it be Yoruba or Igbo. Nigeria is Nigeria. So they will say, trouble in southeast Nigeria. Trouble, for example, in northeast Nigeria. Trouble in northwest Nigeria. For example, south Nigeria. So we are still one Nigeria as of today. So let us find a way to have peace. If there is peace, then things can work. Let's not deceive ourselves. So let's find a way to have peace. If there is peace and equity, then prosperity will come. Then money will come. Then we can say yes, we are all moving. But if there is no peace, and then we try to deceive ourselves and say, it's this side, and nothing concern me. Our guy concern you. But it's happening in Nigeria. They are going to post it all across the world. Nigeria also something. So after one Nigeria, we should stop shifting the blame on one tribe, on one ethnicity, on one religion, and then have a national spirit and a national cohesion as Nigeria.